Hey, welcome to Cooking Crazy Style with Molly B on Foodie TV Network. I have 30 years in the food and beverage department here in Alaska, and I'm going to show you everything I know, and we're going to learn what everybody else knows too. Son's mother. No, that's me.
That's something I would say on national television.
We're going to go to restaurants, we're going to go to places near and far and figure out what's going on in Alaska. Okay, let's check out the cake.
Whoa.
That's me, Molly B with Cooking Crazy Style right here on Foodie TV Network. Welcome to Cooking Crazy Style with me, Molly B. I am here to tell you about this amazing recipe that my friend Diana from a little town in Alaska called Soldotna had me over to have, and it was so good. And in Alaska, we are known for our hunting and fishing, and we eat everything. We truly do. We're real big about that. So today, we're cooking with reindeer sausage. It is so good. If you don't have reindeer sausage where you live, it's cool. You can use like Italian spicy hot sausage or any kind of kielbasa or hot thing. With that said, we're gonna just get started. Here are the ingredients that you will need today for an amazing, huge, gluten-free pot of reindeer sausage and veggie soup. Okay, so here we go. So what we're gonna do is we are going to cut this up in like quarter-sized pieces. So, and you want them kind of thick, you know, like so, okay? So we're just gonna do that. And what you need for this are any veggies that you want, basically. Today I'm doing little potatoes, I threw in some sweet potatoes, I'm doing yellow squash, zucchini, peppers, broccoli, snap peas, cauliflower, carrots, and fresh spinach. I know, it's a lot, but you can just do whatever you want. So we're gonna take some oil and put it in the pan, about 2 tablespoons, just enough to like coat the bottom of the pan. So, one of these is 12 ounces. I'm going to use 2. This is from Alaska Sausage Company. It's delicious. If you can get some, grab some. So we're going to go ahead and cut up all 4 of these, so it'll be 24 ounces. My knife skills are not awesome, but I'm friends with Chef Brian Duffy from Food Network and Spike TV and stuff, and I think I talk about him a lot. He's a good friend of mine, and his knife skills are crazy. Evan, go find him chopping some stuff up and put it on this edit so people can see, and go.
The first thing I'm going to do is get just a little bit of a thin cut. I do a really fine shred or a julienne. Very fine shave, thin julienne onion.
And wasn't that cool? So, anyway, I hope that works out the way I hope it will. Go ahead and open up this next one here, and we're going to cut it up too. Okay, and just so you know, I did 1 hot and 1 mild of this sausage. I didn't want it totally crazy hot because I do have a 14-year-old son who I love so dearly, Mr. Luke, and he is not crazy about anything spicy. Dad and I, my husband, for those of you that don't know, I got married recently. My husband, he loves spicy, and so do I. So we're gonna do 50-50. I feel like that's a good medium. Can you hear it sizzling already? Woohoo, sounds good. So I'm just gonna keep dumping that in. Now I'm gonna stir this around just so it's starting to get a little bit browned on every side. Make sure that they separated good when I cut them. And then what I'm gonna do is while that's cooking off, I'm gonna go ahead and add onions. You need to have like 1 medium-sized onion. Again, don't judge my knifing skills. I'm just cutting this up as best as I can. So we're gonna put this, and we're just gonna heat up the onions with the reindeer sausage. So the cool thing about this soup that is so delicious, oh my gosh, it smells so good, is that it calls for Chardonnay. Isn't that crazy? And let me just tell you, you're not gonna be mad. It is so delicious. But the other part that it calls for is just salt and pepper for seasoning, and then an entire can of pesto. Now this pesto, I've tried a lot of different pestos, and this Classico traditional basil pesto is by far the best. If you're not gonna make it at home yourself, go with this one. I just am gonna take advantage of the situation and think that probably I should have a little bit of wine. So I'm gonna do that while we have this. Let's see. Not bad. Woo, it's a little bitter at the end, but not bad. So, okay, so now while this is going, we're still waiting for the kielbasa, the reindeer sausage, to kind of cook up in there. And while that's happening, what I'm gonna do is, I got these little potatoes because they cook pretty fast. So I'm just gonna cut them in half and throw them in. We're gonna get them going. Then I also did, oh, there's Linda Kamasa. I also did sweet potatoes. So we're gonna throw the sweet potatoes in also. This is just one really big yam. Actually, this is a yam. And then the other thing that this calls for that's not vegetables is fire roasted tomatoes. So keep that in mind. You can get them, they are 1 can of it. You can get it at the store also. And we're gonna mix this up and let it cook down with everything else. Instead of potatoes, you can add tortellini, you can add rice, you can add all sorts of different things. I've made it with tortellini several times, super delicious. All right, as you can see, this is very hearty. It's looking really, really delicious and good. So we're gonna just let this continue to cook, and I'll just continue to throw things in it. So now 3 whole cloves of garlic will go in here. I probably added a little more because I like a lot of garlic. So we'll do that. Man, it smells like heaven in here. Okay, so now we're gonna do some carrots. And like I said, you can do whatever veggies you want. Just be mindful of, you know, carrots take a little bit longer to cook than some of the other things. So you wanna add those, but like the squash, the yellow squash and stuff, they don't take hardly any time at all. So you're not gonna wanna put those in until the end. So, and these carrots, these baby carrots, I'm not a huge fan of baby carrots, but today we have them, so that's what we're gonna use. And put in the comments, if you're watching this, put where you're from and what kind of animal you like to cook. All right, so now the next thing we're gonna do, since this is all melding together, looking really good, and it's nice and warm, we're gonna go ahead and add the broth. So it comes 6 cups chicken broth. It doesn't come with it, you have to add it. It comes with. Okay, and so I have it in a pitcher over here. 6 cups chicken broth. There she blows. And at this point, we're gonna go ahead and add the pesto, all of it. The whole dang jar of pesto is going in here. This is really, truly the very best soup I've ever had in my life. And I love to just do lots of different renditions of it with risotto or raviolis or fettuccine. Whatever you want to do to add to it. But today, potatoes. I wanted to do it gluten-free because there's a lot of people out there that are conscious of their health and having gluten-free options. So, and I wasn't sure, so I had to Google to make sure that this wine is gluten-free. It is, so you're good to go. So now we're gonna add 1 cup of Chardonnay. I'm a good estimator. And if it's a little bit more, that's okay. All right, so we'll put that in there. And once it starts to boil, then we're gonna add all the other veggies. So I'm actually, these snap peas, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these up really quick, just in half, nothing too crazy. And then the best thing, my friend Diana would call this zhuzh. At the end, after you scoop up the soup, then you add some Parmesan on the top. No sparks. He smells this and he's dying a little inside. Do you guys wanna see what sparks looks like? I'll show you. Come here, ding dong. Say hello to everybody. This is the one that is Mr. Barky Pants that you keep hearing. Say hi. All right. Oh, now he's very excited. He's spinning in circles. No. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this up, crank it up a little bit to 10 to get it to start to boil a little bit, and then we're gonna simmer it down. We're gonna bring it up, then we're gonna bring it down. All right, so. And also, I think these are all a little bit big, so I'm just gonna have them. All the squash is gonna go in half. So we'll do that. Zucchini's really super good in here too. That's why I got a little bit, but there, you know, there could be way more. You could do 2 or 3 zucchinis if you want to. Once you guys go and make this and make your rendition of it, drop a line and let me know how it turned out. I would love to hear your input on it. I hear things happening. Do you hear it? It sounds like we need to leave it alone. We are going to add some salt and pepper though. I'm going to do about a tablespoon of pepper and about 2 teaspoons of salt. Right before it gets to boiling, I'm going to add the broccoli and the cauliflower. And you can do a lot more than this. I'm just not a huge broccoli cauliflower fan. So, but isn't that pretty? Oh, actually we can drop this in now too. Go ahead and drop in the awesome tomatoes. Oh my gosh. This looks lovely. At the very end, we're gonna chop up all of this fresh spinach and we're gonna mix it all up. So one thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if you guys knew, but I always put something cute here and here. This week for my daughters, call your mother. And for everyone else, I'm the sauciest girl in town. I love a good sauce. So now we're just gonna wait for this to start to boil, which is looking like it's going to. So right now we're just gonna cut up all of this. And thankfully, this cutting board is a great cutting board. It actually is an antique that's been in my family for years and years and years. So I'm just cutting this up because, you know, you don't want big, huge pieces of salad in your soup. All right. So now that's starting to boil, so this is the perfect time to add this. And the more it boils, the more all those flavors are gonna meld together, so just let it do its thing. All right, but you don't wanna overcook the potatoes, obviously. So I'm just gonna dump everything in there. So delicious. Now we're gonna mix it all up. Now I'm just gonna do a test to make sure there's enough Chardonnay. Let's see here. Pretty perfect. Okay, so now it's boiling. So now we're gonna take it down to 5, half mass. And we're gonna let that do its thing for about 5 minutes, not real long. Just let it boil. And then we're gonna add this. Woo! That was hot! All of the extra squash and zucchini in there. We're just gonna let that do its thing now with it. They're gonna all be best friends. Look at how hearty this is. I mean, this is such an amazing, yummy, delicious, hearty soup. So now your best bet is to grab the biggest potato you can find. This is a pretty big one. And see how we're doing on, no, it's not quite ready. It's pretty hard still. So now what I wanna do is recommend putting a lid on it. Stick a lid on it. Once you put a lid on it, that's gonna keep everything encompassed and it will steam it and it'll keep, none of the heat will leave and it'll cook faster. So we're just gonna let that cook for a little bit and we'll be back in a second. I went ahead and tried it and needs a little bit more flavor. So I'm going to add some chicken base to it. So I'm just gonna do about a teaspoon of chicken base. I'll probably do a couple of them. And then this is the beauty of that, is that if it gets too salty, you just add more Chardonnay. Okay, so now we're gonna let that all do its thing. And we're gonna go digging for potatoes. There's one. That's a big boy. Ooh, I'm throwing. Ooh, that's gonna be good too. Okay. We're getting there. Still a little bit crunchy. Mmm. Definitely getting there. Mmm. Mmm. That reindeer sausage is so good. Okay. It should dissolve, this paste should dissolve in the liquid, but you want to make sure that it does and that it distributes nice and evenly, or else you will get a big old bite of delicious paste in your mouth, and that's just not awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna taste it and see how we are on flavor. Smell it first. Smells really good. So now it is a little bit too salty. Guess what we have to do? Oh no. All right, now we'll mix it up again. It's gonna be fabulous, fabulous, wonderful, fabulous. All right, now what I'm gonna do, because this potato is still a little bit hard, but very close to being done. And you know what? Some people might like it this consistency. Not bad, honestly. Let's just have some. So I'm gonna scoop it up here. Look how hearty this is, you guys. So good. And then I'm gonna do a little bit more broth on there. Oh, hot. And then you wanna take and put shredded Parmesan on top. I'm gonna turn this off. Red Rover, send Evan right over. So here's the soup. It's going to be very hot, but first I want you to tell me, you actually you grew up in a native village in Alaska.
I've lived in Alaska my whole life. And so I grew up, until I was 7, I lived in a small village of less than 200 people.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and it was really hard to get food out there. So, you know, I mostly ate organic food that people either picked or hunted, like around the village in the surrounding area.
So clean and good for you.
We'll just share what they had. We had our across the street neighbors caught a lot of crabs, so it was crab.
Wow.
At least a couple times a week.
That's such a cool sense of community.
Oh yeah.
Now, didn't you say that like if they caught something big, you would just go like cut?
Yeah, the whole village would, you know, gather up and, you know, take the piece of the animal that they wanted. And
so there's just like an area that everyone knew they could just go grab a piece of animal?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, try this. I pulled the spoon so it wouldn't burn your mouth off. Now that your taste buds are totally burnt off.
Well,
is it good? Good. What's your favorite thing about it?
the sausage is really great.
Yeah, I
It
bet.
just tastes like Alaska.
Yeah, doesn't it? With all the vegetables and everything.
Oh yeah.
And could you taste this pesto and the Chardonnay? Not really, probably, huh? It just all kind of melts together.
I can taste the pesto a little bit, but the Chardonnay not too much.
Yeah, it just gives it this really cool flavor.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man. High
That's
five.
great.
That's for you. You get to finish that
thank you.
bad chicken. All right. Thanks so much for sharing another episode of Cooking Crazy Style with Molly B. Alaska reindeer sausage, gluten-free pesto Chardonnay soup with veggies. See you later, you guys. Have a wonderful day. God bless. My earrings are stuck in my hair. Okay. It seemed like a good idea to have super extra earrings today, but maybe not. Ow! Okay. All right. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Ow! No, no, no. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep dumping that in. Do you see what's happening right now? My earring fell out of my ear. Oh, and the back stuck to the back of my ear. I'm just not gonna wear that. Okay. I'll look like a pirate. A pirate. Man, you got lots of fun stuff to edit today with all my bloopers. Up in Alaska, you know, people are kind of freaked out because it is warm here. I'm lying, it's not warm here. Why did I say that? Oh, because it's starting to get warm and I feel it. They're here all the time. And deer, reindeer and deer. Those are two different animals, right? Why am I having a hard time with this today? Now this has also been made without not tomatoes, but without potatoes. Tomato, potato, potato.